TNA Bound for Glory is only a few days away, and as TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year, this has the potential to change everything we know about TNA, including the direction we all thought it was going. Welcome to the channel, my name is Coach and I'm your go-to source for everything relating to TNA. And if you need a little update before Bound for Glory, tonight we're going to recap the final episode of TNA, before the pay-per-view. The show opened with a 6-way match, the winner going on to Bound for Glory, entering 20 in the Call Your Shot Battle Royal. Basically, it's a match where you win, you get a trophy, and you get a title shot for any championship whenever you want. Very similar to the Money in the Bank in concept. The competitors in this match were AJ Francis, Frankie Kazarian, Sami Callihan, Laredo Kid, Jake Something, and Jason Arch. So a very high profile matchup, and at the end, AJ Francis won, which I think is the best decision they could have made. Hopefully he wins the Battle Royal too, because I do really believe he has a lot of potential, but let's wait and see. But overall, it was a fairly good match. I'm just confused about Sami Callihan because he's here sometimes, but very rarely, but that's a whole nother topic for another time. We get a little video package of Santana, we get a few during the night of him reflecting on his past, where he comes from, and now he's preparing for Bound for Glory against Moose. It was some good stuff, nothing we really haven't seen before, but I do like that we're pushing Santana. We'll see some of him later again. We then have Ash by Elegance coming down to ringside. There's a whole table with a lot of stuff. She had Heather Reckless get a big massive makeover, and she introduces the new Heather Reckless to us. She comes out, the crowd said this perfectly, the crowd basically chanted basic white girl, and that's exactly what this is. I don't like the direction they're going with Heather Reckless. I don't think pairing her up under Ash by Elegance is the right decision. I think she had a lot more spark to her before, but now she just, like they said, a basic white girl. Then Xia Brookside comes out, she stands on the ramp, she basically tells them what they did last week to Brinley Reese was not right and that they're going to pay. Brinley Reese appears in the ring behind them, and they don't necessarily attack them, but they grab their heads, put it in this champagne, I think it was, and just pull them out, and they look like a mess. And this was very wacky, but it's the exact type of stuff I like. In my wrestling, I prefer just wacky, out of context, weird stuff. It's how I prefer my wrestling. And we're getting a tag team match, Brinley Reese and Xia Brookside teaming up to go against Ash by Elegance and Heather Reckless on the countdown to Bound for Glory, basically their pre-show. And I'm a big fan of Brinley Reese. I'm glad she's staying in TNA for a bit, getting some exposure, and this is probably the biggest stage she'll be on in her career so far, so I'm very excited for her for that. Josh Alexander then has a match against Jonathan Gresham, and Josh Alexander wins. There's no surprise really here. I'm just very upset with the stop-start booking they have with Jonathan Gresham, because they kept trying to rehash that creepy gimmick of his, and then they dropped it, and it looks like they're dropping it again. Man, I feel so bad for the dude, but what can you do, right? After the match, Josh Alexander and the Northern Army continue to attack him, but Steve Maclin comes out trying to save him, but he doesn't succeed very well. He gets attacked too. He gets tied up to the ring ropes, and Josh Alexander is about to hit him over the head with a steel chair until the rest of the TNA roster, just some lower level guys basically, come out, they stop him, and the Northern Army, they walk away. So at the pay-per-view, we're getting Josh Alexander versus Steve Maclin. It's honestly not a match I'm very excited about. I'm not the biggest fan of Steve Maclin personally. I do enjoy Josh Alexander a lot. I just hoped for something different, something more, because this isn't what I want. And I don't know what they're even doing, because Josh Alexander has not committed to re-signing yet, and they're pushing him hard. So I don't know what we're really doing here. But like I said last week, this is a very intriguing story and I don't know where it's going. So that makes me very interested in it. And we get instantly into another match. Wendy Chu with Rosemary defeats Jody Threat, one half the women's tag team champions. Weirdly enough, Dani Luna was not on Jody Threat's side tonight, which is weird. But I do hope this just makes it clear that Wendy Chu and Rosemary will win the women's tag team championships, because Spitfire, they don't appear a lot, and that's basically devaluing the women's tag team championships a lot. Rosemary and Wendy Chu though, they appear a lot, they have a lot of momentum behind them. A lot of people like them, including me. This is a really fun team, and the fact that it's a woman from TNA and a woman from NXT, there's a lot of crossover potential and to put a lot of eyes on those tag team championships, and it benefits both sides. So I really think we should put the championships on Wendy Chu and Rosemary. Then we have a big all-star main event, ABC and the Hardys going up against the entirety of the system. And I didn't enjoy this match. It feels like we've seen the Hardys and the System and ABC in so many different match types against each other. It just gets tiring, you know. Plus, TNA likes to end their matches in the way like Raw in 2018, 2019, prime Vince McMahon times when he was so delusional. Just big 6 to 8 man tag team matches with no real purpose, just getting a bunch of people in there. I don't enjoy that. It's not for me. Personally, I can understand why some people would like it. It's just not for me, and this was exactly that. ABC and the Hardys win, and I hope this doesn't mean that the System will retain the tag team championships as Bound for Glory. I do hope we should put the belts on the Hardys because that to me is the right decision, and it's what I feel like we've been building to all this time. So hopefully that's the direction that they go in. But after the match, the System keep attacking them, and Santana tries to come out to make the save, but it doesn't work out very well for him. He also gets beat up badly, and at the end the System stand tall. So maybe not, maybe this is, I don't know, I don't really know. But my opinion, the Hardys should win the tag team championships at Bound for Glory. Then to end the night, we had a double contract signing. Both the men's and women's champions are in the ring at the same time, signing a contract against their challengers. We start off with Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich, but it was very short and there wasn't a lot to say, nothing of significance really. And I feel like that's what this whole feud has been. It's gonna be a good match, I'm excited for it, but you know, the build up, it's been mediocre at best. And then compared to Joe Henry and Nick Nemeth's promo, which was very personal, I really enjoyed that one. It's just, it didn't feel like it needed to be a double contract signing, but okay, it was what it was. And Frankie Kazarian comes out, he says he's the special guest referee, not because Santino said so, but because the higher ups at Anthem said so. And basically he gets into everyone's face. He is like derogatory towards Santino and both the women. So both Jordan and Masha, they grab him and Santino gets the sock out. And just good old classic 2011 WWE hits him, and then Nick Nemeth puts him through a table. This was so entertaining, and I think this was a really good way to end the show. It gets me hyped for Bound for Glory. An issue I do have for Bound for Glory is that it's going to have between 9 and 10 matches on the card, which is a lot. Like, I know we complain about WWE only having 5 matches pay-per-view, which I do agree is short, but like 10, that's a lot. In my opinion, 6 to 8 is the perfect amount for a pay-per-view. Less, it's having more or having less just doesn't feel right. So I don't know. It's a weird situation, but I am excited for the pay-per-view. But as I do on the end of each of these videos, I give the show a ranking, and tonight's show was a 7 out of 10. And now usually that's a very mediocre ranking for me, but tonight was the go-home show. We just rehashed a bunch of stuff we already knew. We could have really had the pay-per-view this past weekend, because last week's episode was also a very good go-home episode. So I can't complain too much. It was just very much rehashing everything before the pay-per-view, which isn't a bad thing. It just didn't make for too much entertaining television, because we've seen it all before. But I do hope you guys are excited for Bound for Glory 2. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. The channel has been growing a lot recently, and I'm so very appreciative of that. So leave a like, subscribe, come and join the community, and I'll see you this Sunday and Saturday for Bound for Glory and Halloween Havoc.